You are listening to Unleash Now, the enterprise tech podcast generated entirely by AI. In this episode, we unleash into Cogna, the AI that writes enterprise software.
All right, so today we're diving deep into AI and enterprise software. Specifically, we're looking at Cogna, a startup that's making some serious waves. And they're attracting some big-time investor attention, too.
Yeah, and what's really caught my eye is this $15 million Series A funding round they just snagged. I mean, that's a hefty chunk of change, especially on top of their, almost $5 million seed round earlier this year.
Right. So we're talking almost $20 million in their first year.
Yeah.
Like, wow. What's got these investors so fired up about Cogna?
Well, they're tackling a problem that's, notoriously complex. It's a real headache for a lot of businesses. We're talking about ERP, enterprise resource planning.
ERP, yeah, the digital backbone of any company, right?
Exactly. It manages everything. Finances, inventory, HR, you name it. Supply chains, too.
So it's like the central nervous system, basically.
Pretty much. But the thing is, traditional ERP systems, they're often these massive, clunky systems, super expensive, and they take forever to implement.
Oh, tell me about it. I've heard horror stories of businesses spending millions, even billions, and still ending up with a system that doesn't really fit their needs.
Ugh, yeah. A total nightmare. And that's where Cogna steps in. They're trying to use AI to completely change how this ERP software is built. The idea is to deliver custom solutions, but way faster, cheaper, and, just more effectively than the old way of doing things.
And these investors are clearly betting big that they can pull it off. I mean, with this $15 million led by Notion Capital and with Hoxton Ventures and Chalfen Ventures joining in, that's a big vote of confidence.
Absolutely. This level of investment, it's not just about the tech itself, it's about, the disruption they could cause. They're going up against giants like SAP and Oracle, not to mention all those huge IT consulting firms that specialize in this stuff.
David versus Goliath, huh? But with some serious financial muscle on David's side. So who is the brain behind all this?
Oh, well, Cogna's founder, Ben Peters, he's no stranger to ambitious tech startups, that's for sure, or complex AI systems for that matter. His last venture, 5AI, was a self-driving car company.
Wait, self-driving cars? Like back then?
Yeah, back in 2018, they actually had autonomous vehicles out there navigating the streets of London.
Wow, 2018, that's way ahead of the curve. So what happened to 5AI?
They ended up kind of pivoting, going from building their own self-driving cars to providing development tools for other companies working on autonomous vehicle technology. And they were acquired by Bosch in 2022. So Peters clearly knows how to build a successful tech company, and he's not afraid of tackling a rapidly evolving market either.
Okay, so he's got the experience, the vision, but how does this AI actually build software? Like, what's the magic trick here?
Well, they've got this thing they call a natural language compiler. It uses large language models, or LLMs. These are AI systems that can understand and generate human language, kind of like a super-powered translator.
So instead of needing a whole team of developers writing lines of code, you just tell the software what you want, and it builds it for you.
Yeah.
Sounds almost too good to be true.
It's a simplification, but yeah, that's the basic idea. Users describe their business needs in, plain English, and the AI translates those requirements into functional software.
That's pretty mind-blowing. But how does it actually do that? Does it, pull from pre-built modules or something?
It's a bit more sophisticated than that. They're using multiple LLMs from some of the leading providers, OpenAI and Anthropic, and they're combining them with, really specific knowledge about ERP systems. So it's not just translating words into code, it's actually understanding the logic and the requirements behind building this kind of complex enterprise software.
So it's like it gets the intent and the context behind the words, not just the words themselves.
Precisely. It understands the nuances of a business and then translates that understanding into a customized software solution.
Wow. And this is what they're using that $15 million to further develop.
Yeah.
I can see why investors are buzzing. It's like science fiction becoming reality.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just theoretical. They've already got some impressive clients. Cadent Gas, for example. They're a major UK gas distributor. And Network Plus, an infrastructure service provider. These aren't small startups. They're established companies with complex needs, the kind of needs traditional ERP systems have struggled to meet.
Right. So they're proving their concept in the real world. That's huge, especially if you're trying to build confidence and attract even more investment.
Totally. Early success with big-name clients is crucial for any startup, especially one trying to shake things up in a market like ERP. It shows they can deliver on their promises.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so let's talk about the team behind all this. We know Ben Peters is the visionary founder, but what about the rest of the team? Are they all like AI and ERP gurus?
Actually, they've put together quite a diverse group. Expertise in AI, software engineering, business strategy, the whole package.
So it's a good mix of seasoned veterans and fresh talent then.
Yeah, which is important, I think, when you're trying to do something new in a space like this.
Gotcha. So like the perfect recipe. Visionary leader, talented team, disruptive technology, but let's not forget about that $15 million. What are they planning to do with all that cash?
Well, a big chunk of it's going towards growing that engineering team, hiring top talent to, really speed up development of their platform, make it even better.
Right, makes sense. More brain power, push the limits of what the AI can do and all that.
That's the idea. And they're looking at expanding into new markets, getting more customers. They've got a foothold in the UK, but they want to be a global player.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
But with that kind of money and the momentum they've got, it's definitely possible. I'm curious, though, about the competition. We talked about SAP and Oracle, but are there any other startups, trying to do something similar?
There are a few out there exploring AI-driven software development and all that, but Cogna seems to be, I don't know, carving out a unique niche with that focus on ERP and their natural language compiler.
Yeah, it's a powerful combination,
Yeah.
meeting a real business need, not just building cool tech for the sake of it.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting. If they can actually deliver on all this, they could really change the way businesses think about ERP and software development in general, maybe.
It's like they're democratizing access to custom software, making it affordable, accessible for companies of all sizes, not just the big guys.
And that is a game changer, for sure. It could really level the playing field.
Totally. This all sounds incredibly promising, but let's play devil's advocate for a minute. What could go wrong? What risks or challenges are they facing?
Well, scaling their technology, for one. They've shown it works with a few clients, but can it handle, hundreds or even thousands of businesses, all with their own specific needs?
And what about the AI itself? Can it really build complex systems that are like super reliable, secure? There's always a risk of bugs, unintended consequences, with AI.
Oh, absolutely. AI is still relatively new, right? And we're learning about what it can and can't do all the time. Con is going to have to be really careful how they develop and test their AI, make sure it's robust enough to handle, mission critical stuff.
Yeah, high stakes. And they're going to have to think about the ethical side of things too, right? I mean, if they're automating tasks that were done by human developers, what happens to those jobs?
That's a big one. As AI gets more powerful, more widespread, we need to think about its impact on workers and, how to make sure that transition is fair and equitable.
Right, absolutely. Tech should be a force for good, not something that puts people out of work without, giving them other opportunities.
I agree. Cogna has a responsibility to build innovative tech. Yeah, but to use it in a way that benefits everyone.
Okay, so they've got the funding, the tech, the team, the vision, but they've also got some pretty big challenges ahead of them. This is going to be interesting to watch, see how they handle it all.
It is a classic story, innovation, disruption, all that. And I'm really curious to see how they use this $15 million to grow and, bring in even more talented people.
Same here. It just shows, even in a world with all these tech giants, there's always room for new players with bold ideas and, a willingness to push the boundaries.
Absolutely. Cogna has what it takes to be a major force in the enterprise software world, I think. It's going to be fascinating to see how they evolve and what impact they have on the industry.
Speaking of impact, let's zoom out a little. Think about the bigger picture. If AI can successfully build like complex enterprise software, ERP, what else could it do?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, if Cogna's approach works, it could really open up a whole new world of possibilities for using AI in software development.
Imagine being able to just, I don't know, describe the app you want, and the computer builds it for you. Sounds like science fiction, but Cogna is showing it's not that far off.
Right. And it's not just about building apps. AI could change the whole software development process, from design and testing to deployment and maintenance.
So this could be huge, not just for businesses, but for the entire tech industry.
Yeah, software development could become faster, cheaper, more accessible, and it could free up human developers to focus on, I don't know, more creative stuff, less of the grunt work.
But, and this is a big but, what about the future of work? If AI is doing all the heavy lifting, what happens to the people who used to do those jobs?
That's something we need to think about seriously. As we embrace the potential of AI, we can't forget about its impact on society. We have to make sure everyone benefits.
It's about finding that balance, innovation and responsibility. Welcome back.
Yeah.
So we've been digging into Cogna, this AI startup that's, trying to shake things up in the world of enterprise software.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. That whole approach to ERP, that natural language compiler thing, and of course that $15 million they just raised, definitely a company to watch.
Totally. And before we wrap up, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. The idea that if Cogna can pull this off, if they can show that AI can build complex enterprise software, it could have a ripple effect on the whole software development world.
Right, it could change everything.
Exactly. Like imagine a world where anyone, even if they don't know anything about coding, can just say what they want a piece of software to do, and boom, the AI builds it for them.
It's a pretty powerful concept.
It really is. It could give small businesses, startups, access to custom software that, only big companies could afford before.
Democratizing software, yeah.
And it's not just about ERP either. Think about healthcare, education, finance, manufacturing. Almost every industry relies on software these days.
True. If Cogna's approach works and they can scale it, it could change how we solve problems, how we innovate.
Okay, but let's be real. There are challenges too, right?
Right.
We talked about the impact on jobs, but what about security? Reliability? How do we make sure these AI systems are, doing what they're supposed to do?
Those are big questions. And we have to think about bias too, making sure these systems are fair, ethical.
Right. Responsible AI development. That's key.
Absolutely. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we use it.
So it's a balancing act. Embracing the potential of AI, also being aware of the risks, the ethical considerations.
Exactly. And it's a conversation we all need to be part of, not just tech companies, but policymakers, educators, everyone.
Well said. So to wrap things up, I think it's safe to say Cogna is a company to watch. They're pushing the boundaries, and their success could have a huge impact on the future of software development and beyond, really.
I completely agree. They're at the forefront of a technological revolution. It's going to be fascinating to see what they do next.
Me too. And for our listeners, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep an eye on Cogna. They might just be changing the world, one line of AI-generated code at a time.
Maybe so.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please share and follow us on social media. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube to be the first to listen to our next episode.